Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of his ship. The TSS Defiance was the biggest warship humans had ever built. It was 3 miles long and packed with weapons that could destroy entire worlds. Jake looked out at the stars through the main window. Today would change everything. "Captain, we're ready to drop out of hyperspace," said Commander Lisa Hayes. She was his second in command and had been with him for 5 years. Lisa was smart and tough. She never backed down from a fight. "Do it," Jake said. His voice was calm, but his heart was beating fast. They had trained for this moment for years. The whole human race was counting on them, Dot. The ship shook as it came out of hyperspace. In front of them was Nexus Prime, the capital world of the Galactic Federation. The planet was beautiful, with blue oceans and green continents. Around it floated hundreds of space stations and alien ships. "Sir, we're getting scanned by their sensors," said Lieutenant Kate Sullivan from the weapons station. Kate was young, but deadly accurate with every weapon on the ship. "They don't know what we are yet." Dr. Ben Carter looked up from his science station. Ben was the smartest human Jake had ever met. He could solve problems that stumped entire teams of scientists. "Captain, I'm reading 12 different alien species in this system. Their technology is about 50 years behind ours." Jake smiled. The aliens thought they were so advanced. They had ruled the galaxy for 2,000 years. But they had no idea what humans could do when they put their minds to it. "Lisa, activate the stealth systems," Jake ordered. "Let's give them something to think about." The Defiance vanished from alien sensors. The ship's special hull could bend light around it, making it invisible. On the alien ships, alarms started going off. 1 second they were tracking a large object. The next second it was gone. "They're panicking," Kate said with a grin. 20 ships are heading our way, but they don't know where we are." Jake watched the alien patrol ships fly around in circles. Their sensors couldn't find the Defiance, even though it was right in front of them. The aliens had gotten lazy over the centuries. They thought their technology was the best in the galaxy. "Ben, what are they saying?" Jake asked. Ben listened to the alien radio chatter through his translation computer. "They're scared, Captain. They keep saying impossible. And where did it go? Some of them think their sensors are broken." The Defiance moved closer to the planet. Its engines made no sound and left no trail. The ship was like a ghost in space. Jake could see the main orbital station getting bigger on the screen. It was huge, bigger than any human city. Millions of aliens lived and worked there. "Captain, Ambassador Johnson is ready," Lisa said. Mary Johnson was Earth's best diplomat. She had learned to speak dozens of alien languages. Today she would speak for all of humanity. "Position us directly above their main station," Jake ordered. "Then drop the stealth." The Defiance appeared like magic above the orbital station. The aliens below looked up to see a massive human warship hovering over them. The ship was black as space, with red lights running along its hull. It looked like nothing they had ever seen before. Chaos erupted on the alien communication channels. Ben's translation computer couldn't keep up with all the different languages. Fear was the same in every tone. The aliens had never seen a human ship this big or this advanced. "Sir, they're trying to contact us," Kate said. "Should I put them through?" "Not yet," Jake said. "Let them sweat a little." "Ben, what's their military doing?" "The Federation fleet is mobilizing," Ben reported. "But they're moving slow. I don't think they know what to do. They haven't fought a real war in 300 years. Jake nodded. The Federation had kept peace by making sure no new species could challenge them. They had held back younger races like humanity, giving them just enough technology to be useful, but not enough to be dangerous. But humans were different. They learned fast and never gave up. "Captain, We're getting a priority message from Admiral Blake, Lisa said. Ron Blake was the head of Earth's space fleet. He was the one who had approved this mission. Jake read the message on his private screen. It was short and simple. Show them what humans can do. Make them respect us. Mary, you're on, Jake said into his communicator. Time to introduce ourselves. Ambassador Johnson's face appeared on screens all over the alien station. She was a small woman with gray hair and kind eyes. But her voice was strong and clear. People of the Galactic Federation, she said. I am Ambassador Mary Johnson, speaking for the human race. We come in peace, but we come as equals. For too long, humanity has been kept in the shadows. Today, we step into the light. The aliens listened in stunned silence. They had always thought of humans as primitive creatures from a small world. But the massive warship above them told a different story. This is the TS Defiance, Mary continued. It represents the new humanity. We are no longer content to be your junior partners. We demand our rightful place in the galaxy. Jake watched the alien faces on his screens. Some looked angry. Some looked afraid. All of them looked surprised. They had never expected this day to come. We have been watching you, Mary said. Learning from you, growing stronger. While you rested on your past victories, we prepared for the future. That future starts now. The transmission ended. The aliens were quiet for a long moment. Then the communication channels exploded with activity. Every species was talking at once. Some wanted to fight. Others wanted to run. All of them wanted to know how the humans had become so powerful. Well, Jake said to his crew, I think we got their attention. Lisa smiled. What now, Captain? Now we wait, Jake said. They'll call for a council meeting. And when they do, we'll be ready to show them what humanity is really capable of. The Defiance hung in space like a sleeping giant. Inside, 300 humans waited to change the galaxy forever. Outside, billions of aliens wondered if their time as the rulers of space was coming to an end. The greatest dread in the galaxy wasn't the human warship itself. It was what that ship represented. Change was coming, whether the aliens wanted it or not. And humanity would be the ones to bring it. The Federation Emergency Council met in the Great Assembly Hall on Nexus Prime. The building was huge, with a dome made of crystal that reached up to the stars. Inside, representatives from 12 alien species sat in a circle. They're different. Forms created a strange sight. Some had tentacles, others had wings, and a few glowed with their own light. Captain Jake Morrison walked into the hall wearing his best uniform. He was the only human in a room full of aliens, but he showed no fear. His boots clicked on the metal floor as he made his way to the center of the circle. The aliens watched him with dozens of different types of eyes. The Zethkari leader stood. Up first, the Zethkari were tall and thin, with gray skin and large black eyes. They had ruled the Federation for over 500 years. Human, the leader said in a voice like grinding metal. Explain how your primitive species built such a ship. Jake smiled. We learned from watching you. For 50 years, we've been listening to your communications, studying your technology, and understanding your weaknesses. We're fast learners. A ripple of shock went through the assembly. The aliens had thought humans were too simple to spy on them. They had been wrong. Commander Veltar, the Federation's top military officer, activated a holographic display. Veltar was a four-armed creature with blue skin and silver eyes. He had fought in the last Galactic War 300 years ago. The human ship violates several laws of physics, he said. Its weapons are more powerful than anything we have. Its shields work on principles we don't understand. Dr. Ben Carter was invited to speak. He walked to the center of the circle, carrying a small device. This is a standard human tablet, he said. It contains the solutions to 3 problems your scientists have been working on for decades. Ben activated the device. A hologram showed complex equations and diagrams. Your fusion reactors are only 30% efficient because you're using the wrong magnetic field patterns. Here's how to fix that. He changed the display. Your faster-than-light engines create dangerous radiation. This simple modification will eliminate that problem. He changed it again. Your computer systems crash when they encounter certain data patterns. This algorithm will prevent that. The alien scientists in the assembly started talking excitedly. They recognized the solutions immediately. Problems that had stumped their best minds for generations were solved in minutes by one human. How is this possible? Asked the Valkyrie representative. The Valkyrie were known across the galaxy for their intelligence. They had invented most of the Federation's advanced technology. We think differently, Ben said. Where you see complex problems, we see simple solutions. Where you follow old rules, we create new ones. That's what makes us human. The Zethkari leader's eyes narrowed. You're trying to impress us with tricks. One ship cannot threaten the entire Federation. Ambassador Mary Johnson stood up. She had been quiet until now, but her voice filled the hall. The Defiance is not her only ship. It's not even our best ship. It's just the one we sent to introduce ourselves. The silence that followed was deafening. Every alien in the hall understood what she was saying. If the Defiance was just a scout ship, what did humanity's real fleet look like? You're lying, the Zethkari leader said, but his voice shook slightly. Mary smiled. Captain Morrison, please. Show them our fleet positions. Jake activated his communicator. Defiance to home fleet. Light them up. Across the galaxy, human ships decloaked. They appeared near every major Federation world, space station, and military base. The aliens watching the displays couldn't believe their eyes. Hundreds of human warships had been hiding in their territory for months. We've been here all along, Jake said. Watching, waiting, learning. We know where every Federation ship is. Located? We know your defense plans, your trade routes, and your military capabilities. We know everything. Commander Veltar studied the display with growing alarm. This is impossible. Our sensors would have detected such a large fleet. Your sensors detect what we want them to detect, Ben said. We've been using your own technology. Against you. Every sensor probe you sent to human space reported back exactly what we wanted you to hear. The Thraxian representative, a being that looked like a walking tree, spoke in a voice like rustling leaves. Why reveal yourselves now? Why not continue hiding? Because hiding is for the weak, Jake said. We're not weak. We're ready to take our place as leaders of this galaxy. The Federation has had its time. Now it's humanity's turn. The Zethkari leader stood up angrily. You cannot simply declare yourselves our rulers. The Federation has maintained peace for 2,000 years. Peace through oppression, Mary said. You've kept younger species like us from advancing. You've shared just enough technology to keep us dependent, but not enough to let us grow. That ends now. Dr. Carter pulled up another display. We've analyzed your historical records. Every time a new species showed promise, you found ways to hold them back. You've been doing it for centuries, creating artificial scarcity to maintain your power. The evidence was overwhelming. The Federation's peaceful expansion had been built on keeping other species weak and dependent. They had created a system where only the oldest, most established species could hold real power. What do you want? Asked the Altarian representative. The Altarians were known for their diplomatic skills and had helped write the Federation's constitution. A new Federation, Jake said. One where advancement is based on merit, not age. One where every species has the chance to reach its full potential. One where humanity takes its rightful place at the top. The assembly erupted in chaos. Some species supported the human demands. Others called for war. A few simply sat in stunned silence, trying to process what they had heard. The Zethkari leader shouted over the noise. "This is unacceptable. We will not surrender our authority to a species that only discovered fire a few thousand years ago." "You don't have a choice," Jake said calmly. "Look at your military displays. Look at your sensor readings. Look at the human ships surrounding every Federation world. You can accept change, or you can be swept away by it." Commander Veltar was studying tactical displays on his personal device. His expression grew more troubled with each passing moment. "High Command," he said quietly, "we need to consider their position carefully. Our war games suggest that direct confrontation would be inadvisable. Are you saying we should surrender to these primitives?" The Zethkari leader demanded. "I'm saying we should recognize reality," Veltar replied. "They outgun us, outmaneuver us, and outnumber us. More importantly, they understand our capabilities better than we understand theirs." The Velkari representative spoke up. "What proof do we have that you won't simply conquer us all?" "You have our word," Mary said. "But more than that, you have our actions. We could have destroyed your fleets before revealing ourselves. We could have taken your worlds by force. Instead, we're here, talking, trying to find a peaceful solution." "A peaceful solution that puts you in charge," the Zethkari leader said bitterly. "A practical solution that recognizes the new reality," Jake corrected. "The galaxy has changed. The question is whether you'll change with it or be left behind." The session continued for hours. Species representatives argued, threatened, and pleaded, but the displays around them told the story clearly. Human ships had appeared from nowhere and surrounded every major Federation installation. The balance of power had shifted completely. As the meeting finally ended, one thing was clear. The Federation, as it had existed for 2,000 years, was over. What would replace it remained to be seen. But everyone in that hall knew that humanity would have the final say in shaping the galaxy's future. The greatest dread had been unleashed, and there was no going back. The news of humanity's emergence spread across the galaxy like wildfire. Within hours, every inhabited world knew about the human fleet that had appeared from nowhere. Some species panicked and began evacuation procedures. Others started emergency military preparations. A few simply waited to see what would happen next. Lieutenant Kate Sullivan was cleaning her weapons when the alarm sounded. She ran to the bridge of the Defiance, where Captain Jake Morrison was watching the main display. A Zethkari battlecruiser was approaching their position, its weapons powered up and ready to fire. "Sir, they're trying to scan us with their military sensors," Kate reported. "It's an aggressive move. They're basically trying to see through our armor." Jake frowned. The Zethkari had always been the most warlike species in the Federation. They had built their reputation on never backing down from a fight. Show them what happens when they push too hard. Kate's fingers moved across her weapons controls. The Defiance's main gun fired once. The energy beam was precise and controlled. It hit the Zethkari ship's sensor array and destroyed it completely, but left the rest of the ship undamaged. "Direct hit," Kate said with satisfaction. "Their scanning equipment is gone, but no one was hurt." The Zethkari cruiser stopped moving. Its crew was probably staring at their instruments in shock. They had just been hit by a weapon that could have destroyed their entire ship, but the humans had chosen to only disable their sensors. Message coming in from the Zethkari ship. Commander Lisa Hayes reported. "They're apologizing for the aggressive scan. They're requesting permission to withdraw." Jake nodded. "Tell them they can go. But remind them that next time we might not be so gentle." The alien ship turned and flew away as fast as it could. News of the incident spread quickly through the Federation fleet. The humans had weapons that could surgically remove any part of an enemy ship. They could kill or spare with equal precision. Dr. Ben Carter looked up from his science station. "Captain, I'm getting priority messages from Earth. Admiral Blake wants to talk to you." Jake took the call in his private office. Admiral Ron Blake appeared on the screen, his weathered face serious. "Jake, how are the aliens reacting to our announcement?" "Mixed reactions, sir. Some want to negotiate. Others want to fight. The Zeth-Kari are pushing for military action." "That's what we expected," Blake said. "Intelligence reports suggest they're forming a coalition with the Draxi and the Korvan, three of the Federation's most powerful military species working together." Jake wasn't surprised. The Draxi were known for their massive fleets, while the Korvan had the best space fighters in the galaxy. Together with the Zeth-Kari ground forces, they would make a formidable enemy. "What are our orders, sir?" "Show them what we're capable of," Blake said. "But try not to start a war that destroys the galaxy. We want to rule it, not burn it down." The transmission ended. Jake returned to the bridge where his crew was monitoring Federation communications. The aliens were definitely planning something big. "Captain," Lisa said, "we're getting a formal communication from the Federation Council. They want to meet with us again." The second council meeting was different from the first. This time, the aliens had military advisors present. The Zeth-Kari. Leader wore battle armor instead of diplomatic robes. The message was clear. They were ready to fight. Commander Veltar stood up to address the assembly. "The Federation has existed for 2,000 years without being conquered by any outside force. We will not surrender our freedom to human aggression." "This isn't about surrender," Ambassador Mary Johnson replied. "It's about evolution. The galaxy is changing, and you can either change with it or be left behind." The Zeth-Kari leader stepped forward. "You speak of change, but you offer only domination. We propose a different solution, a test of strength." Jake felt a chill run down his spine. He had hoped to avoid this moment, but he knew it was coming. What kind of test? "A military exercise," Veltar said. "Your single ship against our combined fleet. If you win, we'll consider your proposals. If you lose, humanity withdraws to its own territory and never bothers the Federation again." The challenge hung in the air like a sword. Jake looked at his crew. Lisa was tense but ready. Kate was checking her weapon systems. Ben was running calculations on his computer. They had trained for this moment, but facing it in reality was different. "How many ships?" Jake asked. 12 capital ships, 60 destroyers, and 200 fighters, Veltar replied. "The combined might of our three greatest military powers." The alien representatives murmured among themselves. Even the species that supported humanity thought the challenge was unfair. One human ship against almost 300 alien vessels seemed impossible. "And if we refuse?" Mary asked. "Then we'll assume you're not as powerful as you claim," the Zeth-Kari leader said with a cruel smile. "And we'll act accordingly." Jake knew what that meant. The Federation would unite against humanity, and the galaxy would burn in the resulting war. The challenge was designed to be impossible, but refusing it would be even worse. "We accept," Jake said quietly. The assembly erupted in chaos. Some aliens cheered, others protested, and a few simply stared in shock. The Zeth-Kari leader's smile widened. He thought he had just sentenced humanity to defeat. "The exercise will take place in the Void Sector," Veltar announced. "No inhabited systems, no civilian ships. Just military vessels in open space." Jake nodded. "When?" 3 days. That should give both sides time to prepare. As the meeting ended, Jake felt the weight of the entire human race on his shoulders. the Federation's greatest military forces, would be waiting for them in the Void Sector. If the Defiance lost, humanity would lose its chance to lead the galaxy. But if they won, everything would change. Back on the ship, Jake called his senior staff together. "You heard the challenge. What are our chances?" Ben had been running combat simulations since the meeting ended. "Honestly, Captain, on paper, we should lose. 300 ships against one is impossible odds." "But," Lisa prompted. "But we're not fighting on paper," Kate said. "We're fighting in space with weapons and technology they don't understand." "The Defiance isn't just a ship," Ben added. "It's a weapons platform designed specifically to fight multiple enemies at once. Every system on board was built for this kind of battle." Jake looked around the table at his crew. They were scared, but they were also determined. These were the people who had helped build humanity's greatest warship. They knew what it could do. "All right," he said. "We have 3 days to prepare. Lisa, I want all weapon systems checked and double-checked. Kate, run every combat scenario you can think of. Ben, analyze the Federation fleet composition and find their weaknesses." "What about you, Captain?" Lisa asked. Jake smiled grimly. "I'm going to call Admiral Blake and let him know we're about to make history. One way or another, the galaxy is going to remember what happened in the Void Sector." The next 3 days passed quickly. The Defiance crew worked around the clock, preparing for the battle that would determine humanity's fate. Across the galaxy, aliens watched and waited. Some prayed for the Federation to win. Others hoped the humans would prove their superiority. All of them knew that when the sun set on the Void Sector, the galaxy would be a different place. The question was whether humanity would be leading it or lying in ruins among the stars. The greatest dread was about to become the greatest test. The Void Sector was a dark region of space between star systems. No planets, no asteroids, no hiding places. Just empty space where two forces could meet and fight without causing damage to innocent worlds. Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge of the Defiance and watched the alien fleet take position. It was the largest military formation assembled in 300 years. 12 massive capital ships floated in perfect formation, their hulls gleaming with weapons and armor. Around them, 60 destroyers formed protective circles, their smaller guns ready to fire. Beyond them, 200 fighter craft buzzed like angry insects, waiting for the signal to attack. "Impressive sight," Commander Lisa Hayes said, standing beside Jake. "They're not taking any chances." "They shouldn't," Jake replied. "We're about to show them what happens when you underestimate humanity." Lieutenant Kate Sullivan checked her. "Weapons display one final time." Every gun on the Defiance was loaded and ready. The ship's main cannon could punch through the thickest armor. The smaller guns could track and destroy multiple targets at once. The missile tubes held warheads. That could crack a moon in half. "All weapons ready, Captain," Kate reported. "Targeting computers are locked on the enemy formation." Dr. Ben Carter monitored the enemy fleet from his science station. "They're using standard Federation tactics. Capital ships in the center, destroyers. Forming a protective screen, fighters ready to swarm us. It's the same formation they've used for centuries." "That's their first mistake," Jake said. "They're fighting yesterday's war." The communication system crackled to life. Commander Veltar's voice came through the speakers. "Human vessel, you are outnumbered almost 300 to 1. This is your last chance to surrender with honor." Jake picked up the microphone. "Federation fleet, this is Captain Morrison. We didn't come here to surrender. We came here to teach you a lesson." The alien fleet began to move. The capital ships stayed in formation while the destroyers spread out to surround the Defiance. The fighters accelerated toward the human ship, their weapons charging for the first attack. "Here they come," Kate said. "Permission to engage?" Wait, Jake said calmly. Let them get closer. I want them to see what's about to happen. The fighters reached firing range and opened up with everything they had. Hundreds of energy bolts and missiles streaked toward the Defiance. The alien. Pilots expected to see the human ship destroyed in a ball of fire and metal. Instead, the Defiance's shields absorbed every shot. The energy blasts hit the invisible barrier around the ship and simply disappeared. The missiles exploded harmlessly against the shield, creating pretty fireworks, but no damage. Shields holding at full power, Ben reported. Their weapons can't even scratch us. Jake smiled. Kate, show them how it's done. The Defiance's point. Defense systems came online. Dozens of small guns tracked the incoming fighters and fired in perfect coordination. Each shot was precisely calculated to disable rather than destroy. Fighter after fighter found its engines dead, its weapons offline, its life support failing. Within minutes, half the fighter squadron was drifting helplessly in space. The other half tried to retreat, but the Defiance's guns followed them with deadly accuracy. Soon, all 200 fighters were floating dead in space, their crews rescued by automated systems, but their ships completely useless. Fighters neutralized. Kate reported. No alien casualties. Commander Veltar's voice came over the radio again, but this time it was shaking with fear. Impossible. Our fighters are the best in the galaxy. We're the best, Jake corrected. Now they're scrap metal. The destroyers moved in next, their larger guns firing in volleys. The combined firepower of 60 warships should have been enough to destroy any target. But the Defiance's shields held firm, absorbing energy that could have boiled an ocean. Their shields are adapting, Ben said, watching his instruments. Each shot makes them stronger, not weaker. The alien captains realized they were facing something beyond their understanding. Their most powerful weapons were having no effect. Some of the destroyer crews began to panic, their disciplined formations starting to break apart. Captain, Lisa said, should we take out the destroyers? Not yet, Jake replied. I want the capital ships to see what happens when they attack us directly. The 12 capital ships opened fire at the same time. Their massive guns could destroy cities with a single shot. The combined volley was enough to crack a planet's crust. The energy beams and heavy missiles converged on the Defiance from all directions. The human ship disappeared in a brilliant explosion of light and energy. For a moment, the alien crews thought they had won. Then the light faded, and the Defiance emerged completely undamaged. Shields at 100%, Ben reported. Actually, they're stronger now than when we started. Jake activated the ship's communication system. Federation fleet, you've had your turn. Now it's ours. The Defiance's main weapons came online. The ship's primary gun was a focused energy beam that could cut through anything. It fired once, and the nearest capital ship simply split in half. The two pieces drifted apart, their crews evacuating in escape pods. Direct hit on the Zefkari flagship, Tate reported. Ship disabled, crew safe. The remaining capital ships tried to scatter, but the Defiance moved with impossible speed. It seemed to be in 3 places at once, its guns firing from every angle. One by one, the massive alien warships were cut apart with surgical precision. How are they moving so fast? Veltar demanded over the radio. We don't follow your rules of physics, Jake replied. We make our own. The destroyers tried to retreat, but the Defiance's secondary weapons tracked them down. Each destroyer was disabled with a single shot, its engines destroyed, but its crew unharmed. The alien ships found themselves floating helplessly in space, completely at the mercy of the human vessel dot. Within an hour, the entire Federation fleet was defeated. 12 capital ships were cut in half, 60 destroyers were dead in space, and 200 fighters were drifting like debris. Not a single alien had been killed, but their military pride was shattered. "All enemy ships disabled," Kate reported. "The battle is over." Jake looked out at the wreckage of the Federation fleet. These were supposed to be the galaxy's greatest warriors, but they had been defeated by a single human ship. The lesson was clear. Humanity was no longer a junior partner in galactic affairs. "Ben, what's the status of our ship?" Jake asked. "All systems green, Captain. Shields at full power, weapons ready, engines running perfectly. We could fight another 10 fleets just like this one." Commander Veltar's voice came over the radio one last time. "How did you do it? How did one ship defeat our entire fleet?" Jake picked up the microphone. "You made the same mistake everyone makes when they fight humans. You assumed we would play by your rules, but humans don't follow rules. We break them and make new ones." The communication channel went quiet. Across the galaxy, billions of aliens watched the battle's results on their screens. The Federation's greatest military force had been destroyed by a single human vessel. The message was clear. The age of alien dominance was over. "Captain," Lisa said, "we're getting a message from the Federation Council. They want to meet with us again." Jake nodded. "I bet they do. Set course for Nexus Prime. I think they'll be more willing to listen to our proposals now." The Defiance turned and headed back toward the Federation capital. Behind it, rescue ships were already moving to help the defeated alien crews. The humans had shown mercy in victory, which made their demonstration of power even more impressive. As they traveled through hyperspace, Jake thought about what they had accomplished. The Federation's military might was broken. Their confidence was shattered. Their understanding of the universe had been turned upside down, but the real battle was just beginning. Defeating the Federation fleet was the easy part. Building anew galactic order would be much harder. Jake hoped humanity was ready for the responsibility that came with ultimate power. The greatest dread had been unleashed, and now it was time to build something better from the ashes of the old order. The Federation Council chamber was quiet when Captain Jake Morrison entered. The alien representatives sat in their seats like defeated soldiers, their proud postures replaced by nervous uncertainty. The news of the battle in the Void Sector had spread across the galaxy in hours. Everyone knew that humanity had just changed the rules of galactic politics forever. Ambassador Mary Johnson walked beside Jake, her diplomatic bag filled with proposals for the new order. Behind them came Commander Lisa Hayes and Dr. Ben Carter, ready to answer any technical questions about human capabilities. The Zethkari leader spoke first, his voice lacking its usual arrogance. "Captain Morrison, you have proven your strength. What do you want from us?" Jake took his position in the center of the chamber. "We want what we've always wanted. A fair chance to reach our potential. A galaxy where merit matters more than age. A future where every species can contribute to something greater." "And if we refuse?" asked the Draxi representative, though his tone suggested he already knew the answer. "Then you'll be left behind," Jake said simply. "The galaxy is changing, whether you like it or not. You can be part of that change, or you can watch it happen from the sidelines." Commander Veltar, his forearms crossed in defeat, looked up at the human captain. "Your demonstration in the Void Sector was impressive, but running a galaxy is different from winning battles. Do you really think you can manage 12 different species with different needs and cultures?" Dr. Carter stepped forward. "We've been studying your governmental systems for decades. We know your strengths and weaknesses better than you do. We don't want to replace your cultures. We want to help them flourish." Mary opened her diplomatic bag and activated a holographic display. "We propose a new Federation structure. Leadership based on contribution, not tradition. Scientific advancement shared freely among all species. Military protection provided equally to everyone." The display showed a complex organizational chart. Unlike the old Federation, where power was concentrated in the hands of a few ancient species. A new system would promote leaders based on their abilities and achievements. The Velkari would still lead scientific research, Mary continued, but they would share their discoveries with younger species. The Thraxians would continue their diplomatic work, but they would help newer civilizations develop their own negotiation skills. The Velkari representative leaned forward. And what role would humanity play in this new order? Jake smiled. We would provide guidance and protection. Our technology would ensure that no species could oppress another. Our military would defend the innocent. Our scientists would solve problems that have plagued the galaxy for centuries. You mean you would rule us, the Zethkari leader said bitterly. We would lead, Jake corrected. There's a difference. Rulers take power for themselves. Leaders use power to help others. The chamber fell silent as the aliens considered his words. For 2,000 years, they had been ruled by species that hoarded power and technology. The humans were offering something different: partnership with protection, advancement with guidance. The Altarian representative spoke up. How do we know you won't become like the old rulers? Power corrupts even humans. Lisa stepped forward. Because we remember where we came from. 50 years ago, we were the ones being held back. We know what it feels like to have potential that's never allowed to grow. We won't do that to others. Dr. Carter activated another display. We've already begun implementing our policies. Human research stations are sharing discoveries with allied species. Our defensive fleets are protecting trade routes for everyone, not just our allies. We're proving our intentions with actions, not just words. The proof was overwhelming. In the weeks since humanity's emergence, several smaller species had already benefited from human technology and protection. Worlds that had been struggling with food shortages now had abundant crops. Star systems plagued by pirates were now safe for trade. The Corvan military leader, a massive creature with armored skin, raised his hand. What about our fleets, our armies? Do we simply disband them and rely on human protection? Keep your forces, Jake said. But use them to defend, not conquer. Work with us, not against us. Your experience and our technology together can create the strongest defense the galaxy has ever seen. Ambassador Johnson pulled up a new display showing fleet compositions. We propose joint commands. Human ships working alongside alien vessels. Your crews learning our tactics. Our crews learning your strategies. Everyone becomes stronger together. The discussions continued for hours. Each species had concerns about the new order. The Velkari worried about sharing their scientific secrets. The Thraxians feared losing their diplomatic influence. The Draxi questioned whether their massive fleets would still be needed. But slowly, agreements began to take shape. The humans had done something the old Federation never managed. They offered advancement without domination, strength without oppression. There is one final matter, Commander Veltar said, the question of enforcement. What happens to species that refuse to join the new order? Jake's expression grew serious. We hope it won't come to that. But if any species chooses to threaten others, if anyone tries to return to the old ways of oppression and conquest, they will face the full might of humanity and our allies. The message was clear. The days of strong species bullying weak ones were over. Humanity had the power to enforce peace, and they would use it if necessary. Over the following days, the agreements were formalized. The new Galactic Federation was born, with humanity at its head, but with roles for every member species. The Velkari would lead the Science Council. The Thraxians would head the diplomatic corps. Even the Zethkari were given a place, overseeing. Planetary Defense Forces Captain Morrison found himself promoted to Admiral, commanding the combined fleets of a dozen species. The TSS Defiance became the flagship of the new order. A symbol of humanity's rise to galactic leadership, Dr. Carter was appointed head of the Galactic Research Initiative. His first project was developing technologies that would benefit all species equally, food production systems that could work on any world, medical techniques that could heal any alien physiology, communication networks that could connect every inhabited planet. The changes happened quickly. Species that had been enemies for centuries began working together. Trade flourished as human protection made space lanes safe. Scientific discoveries that had been hoarded for generations were shared freely. Not everything went smoothly. Some species resisted the changes. A few tried to rebel against human authority. But each challenge was met with swift, decisive action. Human fleets would appear wherever trouble started, ending conflicts before they could spread. The galaxy learned that humanity's mercy had limits. Those who threatened the peace found themselves facing the same overwhelming force that had defeated the Federation fleet. But those who embraced the new order found prosperity and protection beyond their dreams. 6 months after the battle in the Void Sector, Jake stood on the bridge of the Defiance and watched construction crews building the first joint species space station. Humans, Velkari, Thraxians, and even Zethkari worked side by side, creating something that none of them could have built alone. "Admiral," Lisa said, using his new rank, "we're getting a priority message from Earth. Admiral Blake wants to congratulate you on a job well done." Jake smiled. "Tell him this was just phase 1. The real work is just beginning." The communication came through on his private screen. Admiral Blake's weathered face showed pride and satisfaction. "Jake, you've exceeded every expectation. The galaxy is finally united under human leadership." "It's not about leadership, sir," Jake replied. "It's about partnership. We're not conquering the galaxy. We're helping it grow up," Blake nodded, spoken like a true leader. "What's your next priority?" "Exploration," Jake said. "There are whole regions of the galaxy we haven't explored yet. Unknown species, undiscovered worlds, new challenges to face." The Federation was content to stay in their little corner of space. Humanity wants to see what's out there. And if you find hostile species, other empires that might challenge our authority? Jake looked out at the construction work happening outside his ship. Aliens and humans working together, building something beautiful and strong. Then we'll do what we always do. We'll show them that there's a better way to live. And if they won't listen, he gestured toward the Defiance's weapon systems, we'll make sure they don't threaten anyone else. The transmission ended. Jake returned to the main bridge, where his crew was monitoring the galaxy-wide communication networks. Reports came in from every sector. Pirates defeated, trade disputes resolved, new colonies established under human protection. "Captain," Kate said, "we're getting reports of strange signals from the Outer Rim. Looks like there might be another spacefaring civilization out there." Jake felt a familiar excitement. New challenges, new opportunities, new chances to prove humanity's superiority. Set course for the Outer Rim. It's time to introduce ourselves to the neighbors. The Defiance turned toward the edge of known space, its human crew ready for whatever they might find. Behind them, the galaxy continued its transformation under human guidance. Ahead lay the unknown, waiting to be explored and conquered, the greatest dread unleashed by the Terran battle.